What's up? I'm Matea Babcock, and a little bit about me. I'm a Kansas farm girl, and let me get this thing on here, the tripod. There we go. And I have 3 crazy extroverted horses, and so I've learned a lot about horses along the way. I've started my own business. I train horses and I teach horse riding lessons. So my passion is helping others with horses and really finding harmony, helping people find harmony between themselves and their horse, whether it's riding or on the ground. In this scope, I'm going to be talking about how to tell if your horse is rideable. How do you know they're rideable? Like, do you know that? So, a few different things to think about. Obviously, if your horse is bucking, they're not rideable. But sometimes it's harder to tell if your horse is just slightly nervous, whether or not, they're rideable or not. So you really have to be an expert reader. So you have to be able to read your horse's body language. What are they telling you? And the best way to tell if your horse is rideable or not is through groundwork. So what I do every time I ride or before I ride, is I warm my horse up on the ground first, and I see if they're rideable or not. So a couple things that I look for on the ground with my horse is, are they calm, are they connected, and are they responsive? And you'll usually find that one of these things is not working when you go to play with them. So you address it and work on that. Another thing that really helped me when I first started training horses was there are 4 things that every horse has trouble with. And you'll find that one is more common for your horse than the other. And these 4 are, is your horse willing? Are they trusting? Are they motivated? And what's the last one? Willing, calm, motivated, and trusting. So if your horse isn't willing, they're probably more rebellious. They don't want to do what you're asking. So that's something you'll need to address. Or, for example, if your horse isn't calm, one thing that I like to do is I like to do circles and a lot of hindquarter yields and backing up, and get your horse to where they can just calmly walk, trot, canter in a circle, and then I know that I'll probably be good to ride. And then, is your horse trusting? Do you need your horse? You need your horse to trust you. And if they don't trust you, that's something you need to work on. Trust is a big part of building a relationship with a horse. They have to trust you. So, a few things that you can do to get your horse to trust you more is work on just spending undemanding time with him, like not asking him to do anything. Horses expect us to go out there, grab them out of the pasture, saddle them up, and get on. So if you do the opposite of that and just work on spending undemanding time and just like sit there and read a book in your horse's pen, or just take them out for a graze, that'll help build trust with your horse. And also waiting on your horse helps a lot too if they're not trusting you. Sometimes it takes horses that are untrusting a lot longer to pick things up, because learning is like a scary experience for them. So they need you to wait on them and you know, go very, very slowly and be very consistent to build that trust. Also, if your horse isn't motivated, you know, sometimes treats help. I know people have their own opinion on treats. That's like a personal choice. If you want to use treats, you can. I believe that you can use them and still have leadership and not get your horse to where they're fighting. And then, so treats and using straight lines. So if your horse knows that there's an end point in mind, then your horse is more likely to be motivated to go there. So circles are like the most unmotivating thing ever for a unmotivated horse to do. So think about using a lot of straight lines and making things very interesting for your horse to keep him motivated. So those are a few things that I look at when I'm looking at my horse's emotional state before I get on. Because I obviously want them calm, connected, and responsive, but I also want them to really excel before I get on, and make sure that they're mentally connected to me and really listening before I get on. So, and then the other thing that I look at is consistency of gait and making sure they have a steady gait. So when I'm looking at a horse on the ground, I'm always judging whether they look rideable. Do they have smooth, nice transitions that just look elegant and nice to ride? Or are they choppy? Are they fast and bracy? Does it look like something you would want to ride? And that's a really good thing to think about when you're playing with your horse on the ground in preparation for riding. I also look for my horse to be steady in his gait. So if your horse is trotting, do they speed up and slow down a lot? Or do they keep the same even pace? This is something I had to work with my horse Dandy on, because he was not consistent like at all. Like he was speeding up and slowing down, speeding up. So I would just work on it in one gait. So I'd have him trotting or cantering and just work on him staying consistent for one lap. So I just wait for him basically to settle in and have that nice steady cadence of whatever gait. So even if it's like a medium speed, that's okay as long as they're keeping the same speed all the way around when you're circling your horse. So those are a few things that I look at when I'm working with a horse on the ground. I want my horse to be prepared for me to ride him. I don't want him to be surprised at all. And I want him to also get those bucks and all that fun stuff out on the ground, so I don't have to ride that, and make sure he's safe to ride. So sometimes I play with horses on the ground and I'm like, nope, not riding. It's not worth it to me to get on a horse that's not safe, or that's just not calm that day. And, you know, don't feel bad if you have a horse that, you know, you've maybe been working for years, and some days you just can't ride them, or you decide not to. That's okay. Like my horse Oki, sometimes I just don't ride her because she gets really nervous, and I'll work with her on the ground, and then once I get to a good stopping point, I'll stop, so that I don't have to fight with her or make it a bad experience. I want it to be a positive experience, and I also want to live through my riding experience. So sometimes that means sacrificing my ride that day for what my horse needs me to do. So